All right, guys, welcome to this week's episode of the Three Kings Bourbon Podcast. I am Shane Burks. This is
Bryce Wilson.
And that is
Tucker Schroeder, Tuck Daddy.
John.
That's the fantasy.
John
That's
Schroeder.
the fantasy football name.
All right.
Anyways, we are here at Happy Hour Bar and Liquor Store, the home of the Three Kings Bourbon Podcast. I want to say thank you again to Aaron Rothke for having us.
Absolutely.
Great host for allowing us to be here. A place that we definitely enjoy, and we definitely suggest others come through if you look into trying bourbon.
Yeah, if you're in the Lexington, Kentucky area, Nicholsville, Kentucky, we're actually Happy Hour is seated in Nicholsville, Kentucky. So if you're in the Lexington area, it's not too far of a drive.
Not at all.
Just to come
about
down
15
here.
minutes from
15 minutes.
Yeah.
So if you guys are in the area, definitely stop by. All these we said it in a previous episode, but we've had our fair share of pours here. We've bought our fair share of bottles. So
Now it's your turn.
Yeah, not only as like customers or being here for our podcast, but we've definitely been customers already. So we can't be thankful enough.
So we have today for Bourbon News. Tuck's going to be talking about something pretty special.
Yeah, so getting going on some bourbon. I just want to sniff it while I do it. Give me a little sneak peek.
It's not time for that.
Moving into Bourbon News.
Yeah.
For this week, something that Sazerac Company and also Buffalo Trace in particular just announced recently. Something interesting that no other distillery has done, I don't think. They're coming out with a Prohibition release. So what they are doing over there at Buffalo Trace is they're coming out with 5 individual bourbons that are coming in a sample size pack. So maybe think of it as kind of like what Four Roses just recently did with their samples, except these are going to be 5 individual Prohibition releases. So these are going to mimic the medicinal whiskey that came out in the Prohibition era.
So will they come in a singular pack? Or
so when they are released, it'll be in a single pack, but it's 5 375 millimeter bottles. So each bourbon will be different in character, brand. You're going to have some George T. Stagg, like the original George T. Stagg. I can't remember the other ones off the top of my head, but some interesting.
What if it's gross?
Like it might be. Like
the medicinal. I don't think they're going to put out anything bad. They never. Yeah. I swear, I don't think I've ever had any Buffalo Trace anything that I feel like I was like, this is bad. Yeah. But I'm just interested. Like you said, it's going to mimic the medicinal whiskey. So I'm like, I don't know what that necessarily entailed. Like, why is that so much different? I'm just worried. Like Nashville, what's that going to look like? I mean, we're going to get the fruit notes and the same thing that we typically get from Buffalo Trace.
Yeah. As far as what is going to be in those bourbons, I'm not sure the exact blend. Yeah. Buffalo Trace, as a lot of people know, they're very close to the vest with how they actually do their blends, their mash bills, whatever. I definitely think it's going to be a hyper limited product. I mean, you think about Buffalo Trace as a whole this year, right? Like doing some different things than the norm. They came out with the Daniel Weller earlier this year, which is a new rare whiskey. That's the Emmer Wheat Daniel Weller that came out. That was very limited from my understanding. They didn't release the exact case count, but I heard from a little birdie, it's like 250 cases then.
Okay. Really?
So I can only imagine this case count is going to be very low.
Got that from an insider?
From an insider. Oh. So cool. I got some connects there.
Oh, okay. All right, big dog.
But I just was curious, like, what your thoughts are as far as distilleries go doing something like this. I don't know if we've seen any distilleries recently or maybe ever going and doing bourbon releases that mimic medicinal whiskey.
So I feel like let's take a step back first and talk about, like, for those that might not know, like, what the Prohibition is. I feel like there might be some guys or people, guys and girls, that may not know what the Prohibition was or is. Yeah,
I mean, like Prohibition, maybe not obvious, but that was a time in American history where alcohol sales were illegal. Buying alcohol, making alcohol. A lot of the distilleries here in Kentucky were still in business because they were producing medicinal whiskey. And when we say medicinal whiskey, they would prescribe it
like medical marijuana, basically,
to people for. I think the most common thing was for sleeping problems.
Puts me to sleep.
I think a lot of people maybe abused that system back in the day.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
But I always think about too, like, remember that one on those Facebook groups that we've seen, like that medicinal. It was like the prescription Blanton's label.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
So I know they did. I know Buffalo Trace did that back in the day.
That's pretty cool.
But So when we refer to the Prohibition era, that is, I don't know the exact years.
I don't know the
20s. I mean, it was 20s.
It
was
like
it in the 20s,
years, right?
No, but it was 20s through the 30s.
Yeah, maybe? It was like Great Depression
era. Or did it go
era.
to the 40s?
I don't know, but it was around the Great Depression, no?
Somewhere around there.
We'll get back to you on that.
We should probably know
we weren't alive. Yeah, we probably should know that.
But kind of getting back to your original question, Tuck, I think that is something that is somewhat important.
Yeah.
Because
it is.
It kind of goes back to where things got started.
Yeah.
Kind of going back to the foundation of the things the fruits of what we have now. Because without some of those strides that people took during the Prohibition to kind of get things going, we definitely wouldn't be having the things that we have.
Yeah,
I agree. Good job, bootleggers. I would have been one. I'm telling you right now.
For sure.
I've been slinging that bourbon all over the place. And you know what?
Bootlegging also created NASCAR.
It did.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know
that. That was from moonshiners.
The thought or the reason cars raced was from the bootlegging.
To get away from
the police.
What were they
evading the police?
Yeah, trying to get away from the police. So
they would make the best
faster.
cars they could and the fastest cars they could. So, and then eventually that morphed into racing them. Wow. And then that was the ground or the roots for NASCAR.
That's what they said. You know what I heard? Somebody said, that's a nice car.
It's bourbon news for y'all. It's bourbon news for me. I did not know that.
All right, let's get into this bottle. I can't wait anymore. I'm super excited about this. I've got somewhat of a tiny little emotional tie to this bottle. This is a Four Roses super premium Japanese market release bourbon. So I stumbled upon this bottle over a year ago, and it wasn't this one, but the same bottle, and I passed on it. And I thought about it every day for about 14, 15 months.
Every day?
Every single day. I thought about
every waking day?
Every day. I did. Not every day, but close enough.
Day.
But anyway, I passed on it, and I really wished that I didn't. And I came across it again, and it actually was from a certified, they can resell bottles from a certified reseller. Mm-hmm. This is only for the Japanese market. So bourbon can only be made in the United States, if you don't know that already. This was made by Four Roses here in Kentucky, and then it gets sent directly to the Japanese market. So this is not something that you're typically going to see. This is not going to be one of those bottles that you're going to be able to run out and go get, more than likely. But if you see it, actually, let's get into that later. I'll give my comments on it.
It looks like there's a fair amount going. So maybe you
have you tried this before,
Bryce? I have not tried this before. It came like this.
What's the proof on it?
No seal. Proof. Actually, I had to look this up, and I believe it's actually in Japanese on the back. And a Japanese buddy of mine helped me figure that out, actually. But 86 proof, I believe, is what this is. So,
we all cheated on this, right?
Yeah. You guys tried it too.
Yeah.
Not just me.
Cheaters.
But I like to drink my bottles. So
I want to get right into the nose.
Yeah, go ahead,
and that's kind of why I brought up us cheating before. The first time I got the nose on this, I got a kind of like a funk, but it's even more funky now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's just because it opened up more or what, but the nose on that is there is definitely a funk to it. There's some kind of something.
I'm about to say something crazy. So I'm definitely picking up that funk that Shane is talking about, but I'm also getting this like perfumey, like I wouldn't even say floral. I'll say like perfumey or almost like a cologne, which is crazy. Yeah. But it made me think about this. You ever stink and you don't have time to take a shower or something? You just spray cologne on you. That's kind of what it smells like. Like you can smell the funk underneath, but you can still get that.
I feel like it's almost the oily essence of it.
Yeah,
and maybe that's what some of that is
to me. And y'all know that I have a preference in bourbon. Four Roses is one of my top.
I do know that.
For sure.
Bourbons that I do like to enjoy. I think what Four Roses does with their 10 individual recipes and how they're all uniquely their own and their yeast strains, how each yeast strain is different. I think that's, not each one, but they have 2 different yeast strains that contribute to this factor. But I think one thing that always jumps out with me, any Four Roses product, and I get it on this one as well, is you get a very almost light, like whimsical feel to the bourbon. Mm-hmm. So like
whimsical.
When you
damn
like
good word.
That's pretty good, right?
Yeah, I like that. Good
so
job.
when you nose this bourbon, yes, you do get some like that unique yeast funk to it. As far as like what I pinpointed as, I don't know if it's like BO with axe on it. I don't know if that's what I'm getting.
That's not. To be fair, I like this nose, so that sounded a lot worse. Right. But the funk and then the cologne.
I think we're leaning more towards on like a funk of like if you had some if you were like drink like strawberry wine, if it was like
fermented,
like fermented strawberry
like
wine.
A fermented. I
so
see why you.
So I get a light, and to further build on that, I get definitely just a good fruit note. Yeah. I think the fruit I'm picking up is a strawberry, like cream, something like that. So to me, it's like a light, slightly funky strawberry cream.
And you know what's interesting to me is with this proof being as low as it is, I wouldn't think that I would get any of this ethanol in the nose, but I am.
Super interesting.
Which is crazy because normally I only see that from higher proof stuff, right?
And what did you say the proof was at?
Like 86, I think.
Really? Do they have any type of age on this? Probably not.
It's not disclosed from what I could find online. I mean, you see some rumors and stuff out there. I mean, this bottle honestly was kind of hard to do some research on. I mean, there's definitely some stuff out there you can find it, but it's some like older reviews and some other stuff. I did not see a lot of things disclosed on this bottle. You know, I mean, there was not.
Four Roses, like tan or yellow label, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
That's normally sitting at like 5 to 6 years.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, this is probably not too much older or younger than that.
Yeah.
Considering it being a mass-produced product for Japan.
Sure.
The bottle, first off, the bottle's gorgeous.
The bottle's incredible. I mean, this is like
I love the indention.
Like for a shelfer bourbon in Japan, like that just like that. I know it's in the name, super premium, but like that would be like a bottle design in America. That would be like, oh, I need that bottle. It's probably hyper rare.
People will love it.
Yeah,
it's my baby right there, man.
So I'm gonna get into it. I like Four Roses.
Yep.
That's no secret to these guys. You guys will learn that more. But for me, the nose is hitting on all those notes that I do love from Four Roses. Mm-hmm. And for it being 86 proof, not smelling thin at all to me. Still smelling pretty flavorful.
Sure.
I don't know if it's like knocking my socks off, but it's definitely great. So I'm gonna stick right at 3.7 for the nose here. On this Four Roses super premium.
3.7 crowns out of 5.
Yeah, 3.7 crowns.
And I tell you what, I'll go ahead and do mine. There's definitely more complexity to this one, as opposed to our first episode that hopefully you guys watched. But if not, go check that out.
Tune in.
But anyway, this one's definitely a little more complex. And again, for this proof point, and I'm a proof snob. We've talked about that before. We're going to continue to say that I like high proof bourbon, but for this is showing me. That's right. This is showing me a lot more from a bourbon at this proof than I've really ever seen, to be honest. Right. I mean, I'm not saying I don't like some lower proof bourbons. I love a couple, but this one is just doing a lot for me. The nose is complex.
Right. Super premium.
Super premium, baby. I'm going to give this nose. Gosh, I don't want to keep taking your numbers. I got to go first. 3.7. Dude, I'm right there. I promise we disagree, but you know what? I'm right around that 3.7 mark. High 3s for this. It's right under 4 for me. Yeah. Maybe 3.8, honestly. Because I'm impressed by the nose on this for what it is.
I kind of started this segment off with saying that I was getting that funkiness from it. I feel like that funkiness has kind of subsided a little bit. And for me, I'm getting a essence of, I'm kind of telling you a little bit on this, but kind of like the raspberry marble cheesecake.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. That is
I'm not getting that creaminess as much as either one of you.
I'll tell you what, like if you think about it, like think about the smell of like cream cheese or like
there's some funk there.
Like cheesecake. It does have like that.
See why you say that.
And it's technically fermented in its own way.
Yeah,
right?
like
to a certain degree. Yeah,
like cheesecake or like cream cheese does have like a not cheese. I mean, maybe cheesy is the way to say it, but like some type of savory, like slightly funky smell. Yeah. And I could maybe.
I see why you say that now. Yeah, I wasn't getting necessarily the creaminess, but what your description of that makes more sense to me.
So yeah, I'm definitely kind of getting some of that fruitiness, something like berry type deal.
Yeah,
any kind of berry. It could be blackberry, strawberry, whatever. Have your pick.
Funky berry.
But so I do like the nose. The funk is not as super pungent as I thought it was at first. But I do like it a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a nose that I'm enjoying. I'm gonna sit right at like a 3.8. I feel like it's a little bit above average. Especially for the proof point. I feel like the nose is not jumping off the charts. Like I'm not like, oh my God, but like it's also very good. So I enjoy it. I'm gonna sit it right at a 3.8 crowns. So a nose that I definitely enjoy. Yeah.
Let's taste it. I'm excited.
Cheers, fellas.
I have a reason to open this up, and this is a great one.
Cheers.
Cheers, gentlemen. Air cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
I had to switch that thing around a little bit. There's a lot going on for an 86 proof bourbon.
86 proof crazy.
For an 86 proof,
there's a lot going on, man.
It's pretty complex.
Yeah.
And I'm not mad about that at all. I mean, that is...
Especially for the value of what you got it at, I feel like there should be some complexity to it.
There should be, and there is. I mean, this is super premium, and, that sounds like just a gimmicky thing. This is super premium.
Think about incredible. when you get into bourbon, and definitely like us in particular, drinking it for a while, enjoying it, our palates have evolved. Typically, anything under 90, really,
I'm like,
you're like, probably don't want to try. Like, I'll try it, but you have a preconceived notion, or you go into it with a leg down or leg up or whatever, that you're maybe not going to like it as much as you would as something that would be 100 plus, right? For 86 proof, I mean, it's giving you pretty much everything you want. In a really like good fashion as far as like,
man.
I don't know, and a term that I know a lot of people don't like using in bourbon, but it's smooth. Like it's smooth.
It is smooth, and you know what? And I've done a horrible job at crapping on lower proof bourbons. I mean, because there are some really crappy ones out there to me, for my palate, because I do enjoy the higher proofs, like we've talked about. But there are some really good ones out there. Bardstown Bourbon Company's got a good one right now. And then honestly, Basil Hayden is a good bourbon. I just get so mad because I know that I would like it at a higher proof.
Literally, I feel like you could get more from it.
So much more from it. Please make a cash strength Basil.
I think it would be really, really awesome if they did like a special edition, like Basil Hayden.
They could charge me arm and a leg for that thing.
Anything. I think that it would sell because. I mean, it's up to you. So I think it would be really, really cool.
But this holds its weight to me with lower proof bourbon. I mean, of anything. I mean, like, if we're going palate wise, I mean, I'm sitting here thinking like, man, I'm getting a little bit of everything. I'm getting some floral perfumey, and I'm getting some bright citrus, and I'm getting some of that more traditional bourbon notes that we talked about, some of that little brown sugar. But there's so much going on, and sometimes there can be too much going on, and there's not. It's married. All these flavors are married, and they're coming in waves for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and just rank this so we can get that out there. I have to consider the fact that it's lower proof, and I'm actually probably gonna make my ranking higher because I think it is phenomenal for the proof, and I think this is gonna be my first 4. I mean, it's only the second episode, but honestly, man, I got to give it a 4 flat. And again, I'm great on a curve, so to speak, because I understand what the proof point is at. If you gave this to me in a blind, I may not put it at 4. It's great. Don't get me wrong. But I'm going to put this at a 4 knowing that this is an 86 proof, and this is a damn good bottle of that proof. It really is.
Yeah, I think Four Roses, for me, y'all two know it, stands higher as far as where my palate hits on for bourbon. I think Four Roses does a great job in all their products of being super balanced. Outside of the single barrel, barrel proofs, which you're not really expecting a ton of balance out of those. You can get it, but you're not always maybe looking for those to be super balanced. One thing that stands out with this one is it hits on all those notes that you want in a bourbon at 86 proof. Super impressive. For me, palate-wise, I don't know if I can bump it right over 4 because I do think it is still pretty it's not like a flavor bomb, right? But it does a lot for me. I'm right there underneath 4, right there at 3.9. I don't know if I can break it into my 4s.
I'm putting it on 4, brother. I got to, man. 4 crowns out of 5 for me.
I was thinking about it, and I think that if I did go based on where the proof is at an 86, I would be at a 4.2. I would.
Okay.
But I'm going to put my crowns based upon it if it wasn't a blind. I think I'm going to think about it as, it's even playing field, whatever.
No context.
No context.
Okay.
I think for
That's
me,
fair. That's fair.
I think for me, I really enjoy it. I think that is something that has great flavor, especially for being, that lower proof kind of standpoint. But I will say for me, it's good, but just as Tucker said, the flavor is not jumping off the page. Something that I enjoy. I'm definitely getting some great notes off of it, but I'm going to sit right at like a 3.5. I think 3.5 crowns is where I'm at. I think compared to some of the other bourbons that I've had, it's not like super stand out, but it's something that I enjoy.
Did you drop my cap?
No cap.
Put it back.
I just need a hair.
Put it back.
I need a little more.
All right. That's because you were sipping early. That's because you took a sip before you were supposed to take a sip.
Whatever.
That's why you got marker on your jeans.
Marker on your
jeans.
But no, dude, this is good. So I guess I'll go ahead and take that palette and move into the finish, man. The same complexity I get on the nose, the same complexity. Oh, Lord Jesus. Heimlich maneuver
over here. Heimlich remover.
The same complexity that I get on the nose, the same complexity that I get on the palate, I'm getting on the finish too. And I'm really happy with the finish. Again, I keep stressing this point, but for it being an 86 proof bourbon,
right.
A lot of the times you get a lower proof bourbon, and if you enjoy it, it doesn't linger very well. It's not oily, it's not thick, it's not going to coat your tongue, it's not going to stay on there. For the proof point consider, I think it's doing a very good job of that for what it is. Now I will rank mine. I'm probably going to take that 86 out of my mind, the 86 proof out of my mind, and just rank the finish for what it is, how you deal with the palate, and just keep it real here. And I still like it, and I'm going to put that finish at around 3.2, 3.3, which is not bad. I mean, to me, in my mind, on
for
this
86
scale,
proof.
Yeah. I mean, that's good. Most finishes for a bourbon at this proof, I'm putting it like 2.
Yeah.
So for me, that's going to be well above the other finishes that I would say. So
yeah, I think this Four Roses Super Premium, it does a lot for me on the nose. It does enough for me on the palate. I think the finish is maybe where it definitely drops for me. Super average finish. Unfortunately,
it's gonna be.
But here's the thing, right? Like, it's an 86 proofer.
That's what I'm saying, man.
You can only do so much with 86 proof on a bourbon experience. I think it's so good on the nose. It's really good in the palate. The finish, not to its own fault. I just think it's 86 proof. You're going to lose a lot there.
It's just going to happen.
The finish, unfortunately, just kind of goes poof, right? So for me, I'm actually dipping the finish down into the 2. I'm sitting at 2.8 in the finish.
I believe that's crazy, though. I really don't, Tucker. I don't.
Right? Like, and now if we're doing an 86 proof scale, I mean, this is upper 4s. But unfortunately, if we're doing it on a generalized scale, I think it's just a very average finish.
So, I will say for me, I do feel like for the proof, there is some viscosity and some oiliness out of it, and that's something that I typically enjoy as far as the mouthfeel goes. And then I will say, so I feel like the flavor kind of like lingers a little bit more than what some bourbons do. Even some that are proofed up. We've tried some proofed up bourbons that just the finish just totally dissipates.
Yeah.
And I feel like I took a sip probably about a minute ago, and I still have something there.
Yeah.
So that kind of stands out for me. But also on top of that, I feel like I'm getting at the finish, right? Like kind of right timeline phase, like right at the beginning of the finish, I'm getting some floral and citrus notes. So where I'm seeing that complexity and change of the bourbon, it kind of stands out for me. So I feel like I kind of like the finish a little bit more than you guys. I'm going to sit right at a 3.2 crowns. I feel like I'm going to kind of go back on what I was talking about earlier and look at it for the 86 proof perspective. Did you catch it?
No.
Okay.
Try to catch that fly. I just went like this. I'm get him out my face.
Right at the 86 proof realm, for it being that, I think where I'm getting some complexity on the back end, it stands out for me. It's definitely a little bit average or below average, but I'm going to set it right at 3.2. Something that I enjoy. Definitely like it a lot, but let's get into our overall ranking.
Yeah.
Man.
Bryce, you take the lead on this.
I know
your
it.
Bottle,
I'm trying to put everything into perspective. Again, you can grade on a scale because of the proof. You can grade on a scale because if you put some money on a bottle, you usually want it to be a little better.
Yeah, naturally.
I mean, just truthfully.
I will say this. Since we are not low proof bourbon drinkers, if you are and you like the low proof, this will probably be a bottle that is like,
so knock your socks off.
Exponentially
and your
great for you. I think that is something that you would definitely like. So I'm going to let Bryce, I don't even know what he just said, but I'm going to let him get right back into his overall ranking. But yeah, I do think that this will be something that you would enjoy.
Shane, that's a great point. Like you said, this is for, I mean, again, it's hard to find. You're probably going to be really stressed to find it, but I agree with you that if you see this and you want something premium, but you don't really want to climb the proof scale, go ahead and do this. All in all, again, like I said, if you spend some more money on the bottle, if it's exclusive, if it's just hard to get, you usually want to rank it a little higher.
Right.
So I'm trying to not take all those things into scale. But I will say, all in all, I'm gonna give her a 3.5. I can do a 3.5 for that. I can do a 3.5 for that. I think it holds its weight, like I said, with any bourbon under 90 proof I've ever had, which is, you have to consider that. I keep saying I'm trying to throw that out of the consideration, but you have to.
Yep.
And I'm enjoying this bottle a lot. There's a lot going on. It's very complex, so I'm very comfortable with 3.5 crowns out of 5.
Oh, no, that's enough. Go ahead.
That's enough, bitch. I think, okay.
I hate both y'all.
We've talked about it the whole review, right?
Mm-hmm.
86 proof. It did good out of 2-3 of those phases. I think, unfortunately, the finish definitely is an anchor in a way, for me, at least.
I
love Four Roses products. Yeah. I love them. It hits for me in all the right ways on my palate and on the nose. Unfortunately, I would be doing a disservice if I just kind of went with my heart instead of my brain.
Oh God!
I gotta be in the lower tier of the 3s. I'm sitting at 3.3 for this one.
I'm okay. If you went under 3, I would be highly disappointed.
Definitely not under 3.3. But the finish drags it down to a point where
that's fair. That's fair.
I can't put it up over some of these.
I understand, brother. I do. I think that's good.
I think for where it is, I definitely think that there's some aspects that I really like, and there are some aspects that I don't really like. I think this is a bottle that my dad would actually love. He is a low-proof drinker.
He would. He would tear this thing up, boy.
That's a on the rocks.
Half a cup of ice, whole bottle on the rocks, boy.
The way my dad drinks bourbon, shout out to my dad, because if it was not for him, I would not be drinking bourbon.
Shout out to Shane Burks,
the real Shane Burks. You're the fraud.
Shout out to Big Shane.
Big Shane, not Little Shane.
Shane, but that's okay. I'm give him a shout out. I think that this would be something that he would love. I'm going to kind of go right in between you guys at a 3.4 crowns.
Yeah.
I do think that for the proof, it is good. I will say something that would deter my crown ranking is the price point and the availability.
True.
Definitely not something that you can just be like, hey, that sounds great, guys. I'm going to go get that. Because you probably won't be able to.
Yeah.
But even playing field for what it is, 3.4 crowns.
I think that's fair. I think it's completely fair. I think we ranked it fair. It's hard to do, like I said, considering all the factors that this bottle brings to the table.
Yeah.
But I think what we've done is completely fair to rank this. So, I'm with that. So
super blessed to be able to try something like that.
I mean, seriously,
when you're in Kentucky, you get opportunities to try bottles like this.
Yeah.
Luckily, where we're at,
we're gonna have
Bryce was able to find this bottle.
I skipped. Like I said, I mentioned earlier. I said I skipped on this bottle.
Right.
I mean, I skipped out on this bottle, and I didn't even see it again at all for well over a year.
Wow.
And I thought, like I said, I kept thinking about it. I'm like, man, I want to try that. I want to get that, and I did. And for me, I like to collect. So it's about the experience with my friends. It's about the collection for me as well. It's just something I like to do.
Yeah, it's just part of we're 3 guys who love bourbon, so
man,
that's what we do.
Just a little bit. So you know what?
3 kings.
I can't necessarily.
Kings that love
3
bourbon.
kings.
They're
that
kings.
like
Yeah, not guys. We're not normal.
And that is our review. The 4 Roses Super Premium.
Yep.
We are actually going to move into a segment of our show that we like to call the King's Court. So this week is going to be just a little bit more different. Usually we talk about different things going on around the world, around Kentucky, whatever. But we're going to take a moment to kind of talk about ourselves. Let you guys get to know us a little bit. Definitely through social media, through the podcast for sure. You guys will get to learn a little bit more about us. But this episode, we kind of just want to talk about who we are and just let you guys kind of get to know us a little bit more.
And how we got to be friends.
Yeah.
So Tucker's new. We just let him join. Shane and I started playing. Oh, that was a terrible one. Damn, hold up, one more. There we go. Shane and I started playing Little League football together at 9?
Yeah.
9 years old?
8 and 9.
And I really, did I meet you before that?
Bro, so listen, this is, I remember. Usually, I don't remember everything, but I remember to this day. I remember we were at tryouts.
Oh, God, I don't know what he's going to say. I don't know what he's going to say.
Oh, it was nothing crazy.
Okay.
I just remember we were at tryouts, and I just thought it was funny. I remember that when you're a little kid, they do like a little general, do a little workout, and then teams got to pick whoever they wanted. I remember us being in the line together, and we were like, hey man, like this and that. We were just talking, and I remember just being like, I hope we're on the same team.
That's
and we
crazy,
ended up both
bro.
being on the Packers. Shout out to Coach Dave.
Man, he was a good dude, man.
Super fun. Give him a lot of shout outs today. But super fun, and that's the way we met.
And we kind of just bonded through that, and then we ended up having mutual friends and stuff. And then over the years, we were in contact here and there. I mean, we went to different middle schools, different high schools. But like at the end of the day, if I ever saw Shane, he already knew what it was.
Yeah, that's my dog. That's my brother.
That's it's just family.
Couple kids from Lex.
Kids from Lex, man. And then at what? I guess 18 years old, we met this scumbag over here.
Really?
Love you, brother.
Probably 17, 18.
Honestly,
17, 18.
I mean, we were young. We all played football at Eastern Kentucky University. For those of you all who don't know. Shane and I were hikers. Like, dude, we haven't played together since Little League. So we played Little League, not middle school, not high school. Played together in college. And then Tucker was there, man, and he just, I mean, you and a couple other guys are just lifelong friends, man. But I mean, I look at both of you all now more like family than friends to me.
Right.
I mean, and I really can confidently say that, and how much I love you guys and trust you guys, and really feel like this whole bourbon thing is fun. But I know that this is a deeper thing for us.
Right. Yeah.
And so Tucker came around, and dude, just kind of just fell into our.
I will say, Tucker. One thing for me, as far as Tucker goes, Tucker was there. I want to say 2 weeks before I got there.
Yeah.
But so it was myself and Q, who I shout out to Q. A lot of shout outs.
Another friend of ours.
Brother of mine.
Yeah.
So Q was there, but Tucker was actually the first person that I met on campus. That was not someone that I knew. So super awesome. I still, to this day, I remember we met until we went somewhere to eat.
We still can't figure it out. I say it's Canes.
Is that what we were on? You two did?
I swear, people. You don't think it's Canes, but I think it was Canes.
It was in the car when we were all throwing quarters at each other. You know what I'm talking about?
I do know what you're talking about.
I don't remember that.
Quarters and pennies.
Yeah, we had like several cars driving somewhere together, and we were throwing pennies and quarters and stuff at each other.
We were moving and throwing.
I didn't know that's what you were talking about. That was like when we first got there that summer. But I mean,
you were there before me though. I wasn't there then. But
this is 6 years ago now, though? 6
and a half.
6.5 years
maybe
now.
More.
2017,
We're all 24. We're all 24. So
yeah. I don't know where we went, but super awesome moment. Definitely a moment that I'll cherish.
Yeah.
Tucker's one of my best friends, a brother of mine. I was blessed and honored to be in his wedding. Super cool. Super happy for him and Alexa. Congratulations.
Sorry, ladies.
Again.
Hold that thing up. Hit the tuck on him, not the Shador. Hit the tuck. Not this. Hit the tuck. Go like this, Tucker. Show him.
Can you do that?
He might not be able to.
Nobody can do that.
That boy jammed. You just jammed your fingers on all line.
Can you go from a fist to your ring finger up?
Yes.
Do it. All right.
Yeah, you can.
All right.
Your fingers.
That's probably because that ring's so heavy.
Yeah. I mean, I think overall, like, these kids, they've already talked about like
kids,
these men. These
boys,
kings.
Well, we started off as kids, right? Like,
honestly, dude.
Coming to EKU.
Just an idiot. I didn't know anything.
I came from Florida, right?
Just young and silly.
I came here from Florida, 900 miles away.
Yeah.
I had no friends. Luckily, like just the situation we were in, going into a college football team, you have built-in friends, teammates, brothers. But these two in particular, many others, right? Like, you have many other brothers.
But, shout out EKU, man. Love my boys.
We hit it off right away. And it's just have always remained close. Always been, going out, doing stupid stuff,
idiots,
throwing pennies at cars.
And now we just talk about bourbon on a podcast.
Yeah. So
we don't have full-time jobs, by the way. We're all working, but this is something that this idea was birthed a long time ago.
Yeah.
And we've talked and
over drinking bourbon at different places. Yeah. Overall, I am super blessed to have a group of guys like you two.
Yeah. Appreciate that, man. I feel the same way, brother.
Make this my home. I know Lexington, Kentucky has obviously been your guys' home city. But
shout out Lex.
My wife and I, we are officially here. We're natives, or not natives, but citizens of Lexington, Kentucky.
That's right.
So,
is your marriage license in Florida or is it in Kentucky?
It's in Florida.
Oh,
in Florida. So
you're not even really married.
Yeah. So technically it's a destination wedding.
Oh.
So, like legally, we're married. Like you're married everywhere, but Florida was a destination since we're not citizens there anymore, or
just married to the game.
Residents, I guess. So, but just super blessed to be, I guess, welcomed and accepted by you guys. For sure, and now a stupid drunken night drinking bourbon and ideas have turned into a reality for us. So
something we love to do, man. It's just, and even nights where we're just having a couple, and we're not drinking it. It's just for us to get together, for us to talk, for us to enjoy ourselves, man. And we're busy during the week. Sometimes we talk every day. Sometimes we don't because we're busy, man. We're all grown. We've got other responsibilities. But at the end of the day, I know who has my back. They know I have theirs, and we're going to be a lot goofier on this in general, but the whole sentimental thing, I want to also make sure that people understand our relationship and how much work we've put in to make this thing happen.
Yeah, it's been a long process.
It's been a long time sitting in Panera. Yeah. And that was really the first time we really got together and sat down and pulled out a laptop. I was like, how are we going to do this? Yeah. What do we need? Where are we going to do it? What's our full-time plan? And, as things progress, we'll continue to progress as a podcast and maybe some other things, some other ventures we're going to do that you all will see. But we appreciate you all. Thank y'all for tuning in. And please continue to do that. Share for us. Again, give us feedback. Good feedback, bad feedback. We might not listen to you. Feedback. We might not listen to you. And we might. Who knows? But tell us what you think. Keep doing it. And check out the Three Kings Bourbon Podcast, social media, everything you can do. You know what it is, man. We out of here. We love you guys.
Tug Daddy.
Thank you. Not Tug Daddy. John Schroeder. Thank you, guys.
Guys, support. If you like what you're seeing, please check us out on
YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook.
Yeah. And one last thing, another shout out, another thank you to Happy Hour Bar and Liquor Store here in Nicholasville, Kentucky. You guys come check this place out. It's great. Thanks.
Three Kings Bourbon wishes you to drink like a king, but to act like one also. Please drink safely and responsibly.